Hi, my name is Becky Jennings, and this is the ResponseABLE Parenting Podcast. I give you the transformational tools to stop reacting to your children in the moment and start responding with intention.
Before we dive into the episode, I want to share my free guide to managing our kids' meltdowns. We know that meltdowns are normal, but they still suck and can be ridiculously triggering. This 4-step free guide will help you break the cycle of reactivity and help you get through the meltdown without snapping yourself. Don't join your kid in the tantrum. Grab my free guide and learn how to manage meltdowns like a pro. Head to responsablepparenting.ck.page/meltdown, or just go and click the link in my show notes and get your guide today. Okay, let's get to the episode.
Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to another episode of ResponseABLE Parenting. My name is Becky Jennings. I'm your host. And today we're going to talk a little bit about a comment I received on social media. And I have a lot to say in response to this comment. And it was so flippant and it was so simple, but it is a much bigger thing than just a passing comment. So I wanted to dive into it. The comment was, ugh, you're raising one of those. And it was in response to a clip that I had done on Instagram about having my child experience empathy and feeling their feelings after they had their shots. And the comment was, ugh, you're raising one of those. So I wanted to dive in a little bit deeper as to why all of the sudden feelings, the word feelings, feeling your feelings, having feelings, allowing feelings, the word empathy, why those are becoming so hot button, triggering, very frustrating words out there on the interwebs, and how the concept, for some reason, of gentle parenting has been looped in and connected with permissive parenting. And I want to talk about, yes, how the pendulum has shifted, but also I want to explain the huge benefits, the purpose, the reason behind actually feeling your feelings, being allowed to feel your feelings, being a parent who brings space for feelings. So I want to dive into all of that. So, first of all, I will acknowledge, whenever something has kind of been going on for a long time and we're starting to find the cracks in the norm, then the pendulum oftentimes swings super far in the other direction. And that's where I think we're getting a little bit of a mix up between what gentle parenting is and permissive parenting is. I think a lot of people experience stuff in their childhood in traditional style parenting that didn't feel good, and they don't want to pass those patterns down into their families and have that be something that their children struggle with in their adult life. But the way in which it has, propelled into this, oh, sweetie, I can tell you're having a really hard day. Oh, I see that you're hitting. That's not what my purpose is here. That's not what my mission is. And I am not, I will say, not raising a child who's just allowed to do whatever they want, whenever, to whomever. That's not the goal. I think the sticky part in learning gentle parenting practices, conscious parenting practices, whatever you want to call it, is that we don't actually afterwards know the skill to teach. So I want to dive into why feelings are super important to be allowed to feel, but also how to hold a boundary and teach a skill around it, because those are two essential parts after the feeling of the feeling has been felt that we need to integrate and really start to practice so that the pendulum, while it's shifting to being able to expect and appreciate and accept humanness, we also need to be able to raise people who function in society, who can follow constructs and rules, and who can actually be the kind humans that we are trying to raise. So, why are feelings important? Well, if we're not allowed to feel them, then we are ensuring the suppression of them, no matter what. And with suppression comes a buildup of anxiety, depression, coping measures, um, ways that we can control and relieve some of these feelings. And that can lead to substance abuse, eating disorders, self destructive behaviors, people pleasing. When we are allowed to feel our feelings, explore them, understand them, get explanation of them, then we can actually build a skill around it so that we know what to do when these feelings arise. We can actually start to create and safeguard healthy coping measures and mechanisms that lead to actually resilient, strong, stable, problem solving adults. When we're told to constantly stop, when we're told that that's not allowed, when we're told that we have to be moral, we don't actually understand what that means. And like, then give me a replacement behavior. Give me something that actually allows me to know what to do in this moment, because all I'm learning in the moment is whatever I'm feeling isn't correct, isn't right, isn't accepted. I'm going to suppress that, right? I'm going to dull that down so that I can stay safe in this environment. And when I say I want my child to know themselves, when I want my children to so deeply know themselves, I get a lot of hate when I said that one time. It's what I'm saying is I want them to understand in their bodies what their feelings are, what the sensations they're experiencing, what impulses that are they having. I want them to feel that in their body. I want them to have had an opportunity to explore that without the fear of punishment, and that they've been actually taught and modeled safe and healthy ways to manage and cope with these sensations and feelings and urges that arise, so that I'm not raising and contributing to another generation of people who storm the Capitol when they don't know where to put this pent up aggression that is being suppressed. So, when we're talking about creating a generation or creating the next realm of children who are real world ready, they have to be able to feel their feelings. That is an essential part of this readiness. Telling a child simply, you can't do that, like hitting. Okay, but actually, hitting is an age appropriate aggressive response to not getting something that they want, not being able to express their emotions. Okay, so you're not allowed to do that. That isn't situationally appropriate or safe. Great. Now we have an opportunity to see that they don't have the skill around this area. They're feeling the feelings, which is normal. Aggression, anger, totally normal, primal human feelings. Okay, let's teach a skill around it. This is an area of focus that I need to dive in on as a parent. I can look at this now as a teaching moment where I can explain and I can give a coping tool as opposed to suppressing it, adding shame around it, and not teaching a skill. We accept the feeling as the parent. We accept that the feeling is happening. We hold the boundary of what is allowed and what is not. And then we teach the skill. If we can shift in our heads and think about feelings as a training ground versus something that is wrong or bad or needs to be shut down, then we can do so much more for our children and for this next generation. There's actually proven research that says when feelings are allowed to be processed, then we spend less time in our survival response, our fight, flight, freeze response. And the more that we can allow feelings to happen, we are creating a deeper neural pathway that is safe, that shows when I feel this, this could be my default reaction. So, when we repeat a behavior over and over and over again, we know through neuroscience that it creates a neural pathway that becomes our default pattern of reaction. So, say we're mad and we learn what that feels like in our body. There hasn't been layering of shame or isolations or punishments or beatings. We've actually been validated that this feeling is real, it exists. You are right to feel mad about this. That is true. Here is a coping strategy that is effective. Bam! Then you have a neural pathway that is wired so that your kid is angry, when they're angry in the future with a partner, a coworker, their boss. They actually know a healthier way to get through it so they can feel the feeling And then they understand problem solving skills to resolve this issue. Feeling your feelings doesn't mean that you get away with whatever you want and that mom and dad have no say. No, that's not what we're doing. That is when the pendulum has swung so far and you are on the permissive side. Your children have complete control. They run the house. That is permissive parenting. That is not what we are doing here. But we are allowing our children to feel a feeling, and we are showing them the parameters of what is allowed and what is not. We're not adding the extra layers of shame that they're going to have to untangle later on in life. And then later on in life, when the neural pathway is so deeply ingrained, they don't have to start over trying to break that one down and build a new one. What we're doing is we're creating a generation of actually emotionally resilient children from the jump so that we don't have to do so much work later. We're teaching them from location to location, the grocery store, school, grandparents' house, sleepovers, friends' houses, etc. We're teaching them that there are different boundaries and structures within these situations. I gave an example to my son who came to me and was like, I just really don't like being at school because I'm just not allowed to be myself at school. School, I have to act and be different. And when we started to untangle that and get into that discussion, I shared with him at how home and school are different structures or containers. And that within these systems, there are actual, steps and things that have to happen in order to maintain the flow. That there's certain things that you have to do at school and there's certain things you have to do at home. And this allows these things to flow and continue to go on. But that's not to say that you can't bring yourself, that you can't bring your personality to those systems. You don't have to dull your shine. You don't have to be a different person. You don't have to show up in a different way. You can still be you, but you actually do have to follow the rules in these places because that's what keeps things flowing. Okay. So we can talk to them about appropriate behaviors within situations so that they understand that they don't have to be a different person, so suppress themselves. They don't have to limit them as they're figuring things out, but they do know that at some points in school, I can let it rip on the playground and just have a blast. And when I'm in the classroom and it's reading time, I actually do have to do that. I don't get to stand up and sing on my desk and create a whole situation. No, we start to teach them what is appropriate and what is not. But we're not telling them that they have to be a different person or they're not allowed to feel certain things. Also, kids feel incredibly safe with structure, routine, and limits. They actually thrive in when they know what to expect. And then when feelings pop up and start to overpower and take over the situation and they don't have somebody there to help them through, they feel really out of control. They actually need us as the adult to step in and take it further than the permissive parenting approach that says, "Oh, you're feeling upset. I see that. Yes, you're very upset. I know you're upset." They're sitting here going, "Yeah, I'm upset. And what? What now? What do I need? What do I do?" And because they have such a limited range of communication skills, that's going to come out in bigger, more expressive language. They're going to have a bigger meltdown because what they're saying is, "Help, read me, help me get through this. I don't know what to do. I need your support." They actually need us to contain the situation. "I see you're upset, and I won't let you hit. And I'm taking you to the other room so that you don't hurt anybody else or you're safe. I'm not afraid of your feelings. I have all time, all day long for your feelings. But I'm going to be here in this moment. I'm going to ride the wave with you, keep you safe, keep everybody else safe. I'm here to validate that experience. I'm going to ride the wave. And then on the opposite end, when you are calm, when we are back, then I'm going to teach you the skill on how to manage this in the future. Wash, rinse, repeat. Feel the feelings, hold the boundary, teach a skill. Wash, rinse, repeat until that neural pathway is solidified and they have a healthy coping skill to manage this feeling. You might have heard the phrase, "all feelings are welcome, all behaviors are not." We live and die by that rule in this house. I truly have all the time in the world for my kids' feelings. However, I do not allow all behaviors in any way, shape, or form. We truly have to allow these feelings if our goal is to raise emotionally stable humans. We want to raise humans who can feel something and cope without hitting. We want children to be able to feel something and cope without blowing up and screaming at somebody. We want our child to feel something and cope without isolating themselves or doing self destructive behaviors. We want our children to learn that when I feel something, it is safe, it is real, it is accepted, and here is how I've been modeled how to deal with that safely. Here is what I've been taught as to how to do this safely. Here is how I can move this through my body in a different way. I know you really want dessert before dinner. I understand that impulse because sometimes I really want chocolate before dinner too. I know your body's craving something sweet. So I'm going to offer you a strawberry or apple slices before dinner, but we are going to wait for chocolate. I'm not afraid of feelings. I'm not afraid of my child melting down when they're not allowed to have chocolate. I'm not going to give in to the meltdown just to end it. I'm going to hold the boundary, let the feelings come up, and I'm going to teach a skill. As we know, it takes a village to raise our children, but more and more, we are doing the entire job on our own. And that stops today. I have created a parent community app focused directly on giving you essential support tools. The ResponseABLE Parenting Community Group is available now. In this community, you will have more parenting strategies right at your fingertips. You'll have direct access to me and my coaching every month in our live Q&As, where you can bring your burning parenting questions and get my real-time support. I will host monthly exclusive workshops, facilitate weekly skill-building exercises, and more. This space is designed to meet you where you are at on your parenting journey. It's a judgment-free zone with parents and caregivers who are learning and growing right alongside of you. For less than $1 a day, you will have access to exclusive parenting content and coaching. I cannot wait to be a bigger part of your parenting journey. Head over to ResponseABLEParenting.com to join today. Enter promo code PODCAST to receive $10 off your first month. That's PODCAST for $10 off your first month. When we tell our children that they shouldn't feel something, and that comes out from us saying, stop doing that, or you're overreacting, you're not allowed to do that, or I don't have time for this. What we are basically doing is telling them, I do not accept your feelings. Your feelings are not correct. Your feelings are not valid and real in my view, right? You need to suppress that. You need to internalize that. And when we do that, we are filling our children with shame. We are telling them that they are wrong, and that is going to start to shape the way they see themselves. And when we do that long enough, they are going to push things down and come up with coping mechanisms to feel to get through these feelings. And generally speaking, when there is suppression, the coping mechanism is not healthy. It is not good. When we bypass feelings, we push ourselves further away from our humanity. We push ourselves further away from being who we are. And I don't know about you, but I have no intention to raise a child who does not understand who they are. When we say feel your feelings, it isn't feel your feelings and do whatever the hell you want. When we say feel your feelings, it's saying I recognize the human in you. I recognize that same human in me. I recognize that angry feeling in you. I also recognize that angry feeling in me. It's real. It's valid. It's true. It's human. It's human to feel feelings. But I am going to hold a boundary around what is acceptable, what is not, and I am going to show you how to safely get through this feeling so that it's not suppressed, so that it's not internalized, so you don't create a storyline about yourself that isn't true, because we've all been there. And then we are teaching and raising the next generation of responsible, thoughtful, resilient, strong, stable children who become adults. And they don't have to spend so much time unpacking all of this shame and resentment and inner stories that have taken many of us years, if not decades, to start to figure out, to piece together, to unwind, to then reparent ourselves so that we don't pass down the same things to our children. So, yes, I am raising one of those. I am raising a child who is aware that feelings are real and they matter, that I have all day for those feelings, and I'm going to hold a boundary and I'm going to teach you a skill. That is it. It is not permissive in any way. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm gentle in any way. I'm a very firm person, and I have all day for your feelings. And the person who commented this, I have all day for your feelings as well. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope that kind of cleared up the difference between permissive, gentle, feeling parenting and gives you some context as to why we are all so eager to understand this journey and why we're really testing it out because it's important, it matters, and my goodness, are our children going to reap these benefits? Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to the ResponseABLE Parenting Podcast. If you like what you heard, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. If you know someone who would benefit from this podcast, I'd be honored if you'd share this episode with them. Until next time, know that you are enough, you are capable, you've made it through all of your hardest days, and we will keep growing on this parenting journey together. This podcast was produced by Kim Kelty and myself, Becky Jennings, and edited by the Kelty Method, Branding and Podcasting.